I'm going to share. Stay tuned. I'll be back in a moment.
If you think you knew me, you didn't really know it all. I've been through my share of struggles and I'm still here standing tall. Never the type to fold. If I fall, I wouldn't fear. I'm giving you all of me. This my blood, love, and tears. If you think you knew me, you didn't really know it all. I've been through my share of struggles and I'm still here standing tall. Never the type to fold. If I fall, I wouldn't fear. I'm giving you all of me. This my blood, love, and tears.
Have you ever thought your family dynamics was one way, but found out it was something completely different? That happened to me. I'm Pr1ma, and what I'm going to do tonight is share parts of my life, bits and pieces of me, the things that I recollect as a young child growing up in Atlanta, Georgia. I was born at Fort McPherson Hospital. From what I knew and I understood, my mother had been in the military, the Navy. That's why I was born at Fort McPherson. I grew up in Southwest Atlanta off of Campbellton Road, and when I went home to Myrtle Drive. What I intend on doing today is to take you back to 1970 something. I was born in 1973. I'm 49. And I'm imagining me writing a story about my life that I'm sharing with, or a legacy maybe that I would love to leave for my children or my children's children. I'm Pr1ma Kawana Charleston. I was born at Fort McPherson Hospital, which is now Tyler Perry Studio. Well, part of it is. I was born March 29th to Karen and Alan Charleston. I attended Christian school at Calvary Temple Elementary School. I was the first grandchild. I was the apple of their eye. I remember pictures of me as a child. I remember all the toys and Christmas and cakes being made just for me, and I could blow out the candles. I remember all the toys. I remember the Christmas trees. I remember going to visit several relatives and spending the night at different grandparents' house. I had grandparents. I had my grandmother Ruth. I had my grandma Mary. I had my big mama. I had my other grandma Mary. So I had a lot of families and aunts and uncles and all of that. I thought life was perfect. I was then a big sister. I had a big sister. So I had a little sister, my sister Mary Venitra, that was named after my grandmother's. And I was very helpful and always a caretaker. And as verbal as I am now, I feel like I was that verbal as a kid. I went on to have a brother the next year, my brother Maurice Jonathan, who was named after my dad. And I thought life was so wonderful and so perfect. I remember my dad worked for IBM. My mom was a house mom, a housewife for a long period of time. I remember my mom picking us up from Christian school. I remember going to church and leaving church, going to spend the night at different, the choir directors, going to spend the night at her house. And I remember being Wonder Woman. I used to jump off the porch and spin around and never broke a leg or arm or anything. My cousins still talk about me now and make fun of me being Wonder Woman. And what I wound up being in my adult life is Wonder Woman. But, you know, I thought my life was perfect and I had friends and life was Christian, and I thought that you told the truth, that everything works out as it is supposed to because everyone is good and everyone tells the truth. I wanted to share like toys and things that were fun for me. I couldn't put a sliding board on stage, but I loved hula hoops and I loved my little baby doll socks, and I dropped my pencil in telling my story. I had every day before I went to school, or lots of days, I had to have my vitamin C. So this is my orange juice. Something else was fun that people might remember is the, the ring pops. As a kid, I probably had a hard time like I'm having today. Not certain if I can open it, but I can. Look at me. I was always a smart, bright little lad. So I had ring pops. That was fun to me. Me being the firstborn, I liked for us to get together, have fun, visit family members. I was the one that liked to keep the house clean and surprise mom and dad. There were times that I was picked on because I looked a little different than my sister and my brother. Although I was the oldest, I was shorter. I was a little thicker. I was a little lighter. My hair was a little different. And that was made reference to lots and lots of times, but I didn't know anything different because our family was perfect. My mom went to church. We went to church on a regular basis. I sang in the choir. My dad was a very hard worker. He worked at IBM at the time, and he had his own office. I believe he was an accountant, and if not, he'll correct me, but that's what I thought. We went to his office. We went to a lot of parties, summer parties, Christmas parties, spring parties, and I thought that we were the mom, the dad, the kids, the dog. We didn't have the white picket fence, but I thought our situation was perfect and it was wonderful. And as I say perfect, I mean perfect as it could be for an 8 or 9-year-old child. My mom had lots and lots of pictures, and what I recall about the pictures, I remember we loved looking at the pictures because we wanted to see the old-fashioned pictures, the pictures with the afros, the pictures with let me get my pen up so I can finish writing because this is a memoir, but I'm writing. So we had lots and lots of pictures of afros and bell bottoms and the little short mini skirts that we thought were so cute and funny too. So in all the hilariousness, one particular day, I remember like it was yesterday. I remember in the living room, it was a wood box, like a wood chest that was like our coffee table. And I remember going in the coffee table, looking through pictures and laughing and laughing. Look at this, look at mama, look at her hair. Oh, look at daddy, look at auntie, look at everybody's pictures. Oh, look. It's so funny. Why did they wear those clothes back then? And why was their hair like that? And what's going on? So anyway, on this particular day, I think I was about 9-ish, I remember going and digging and digging and digging in the chest and digging and digging. And as I'm digging, I find a metal card in a plastic bag, and I looked at it, and it had my name on it, but it had a different name. It said Pr1ma Lisby, which was something different than I had wrote in school from 3-year-old kindergarten to like 4th grade. And I'm like, well, this isn't me. Who is this? This can't be right. It's my first name, it's my last name, but it's not my name. What's going on? So me being my inquisitive self and me always asking questions and trying to figure out what's what, and I want to know the truth because I believe all adults tell the truth because that's the godly thing to do, because I grew up in a godly Christian household. So I thought later to find out that it wasn't what I thought. So I remember going to my parents, and I remember questioning, hey, who is this? Why does this say Pr1ma Lisby? This is not my name. This is not the name that I've been practicing writing in school for the past so many years. You know, I learned how to print it. I learned how to write it in cursive. It's on my, Pr1ma Charleston has been on all my graduation certificates and all my awards. And because, I was very studious. I was a very smart girl. Very astute. I always acted, and I was in different plays, and I was looking. I wasn't Pr1ma. His life changed. I really didn't know it changed until I went to confront my parents. And in confronting my parents, I asked, hey, why is my name different? This is not my name. Why does this say this? Like, I need you to answer me. And I remember my parents telling me to get out the room. Pr1ma, get out. Well, what did I do wrong? I just asked, like, what's my name? Why does this have a different name? I'm kind of confused. Just get out of here. Okay, so I leave out. When I leave out, I have the, back then, we used to have a show called the ABC After School Special. So I had my little Light of Persuasion, ABC After School Special moments. Like, oh my God, what's going on? Okay, let me go wait. Let me go pause. Let me see what's going to happen. Okay. And then it seemed like forever for a 9-year-old, like forever. Like, when are they going to call me back? When are they going to let me know something? When do they have any answers? And the answers seemed to take forever. Then I was called back in, and I remembered the moment that life changed for me forever. It's Pr1ma with the Just Pr1ma Show. Check me out every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube, Caribbean Life TV, and Just, Justpr1ma, Pr1ma. Look forward to seeing you. Stay tuned. My life was shattered. I was called back in the room, and life that I had known it had changed. Pr1ma, come in. Pr1ma? It was more like that. Pr1ma, come here. That was better. Okay. Well, we have something to tell you. I'm a 9-year-old, about 9-ish if I recall. Well, the grandparents' house that you go to, Mama Ruth? That's really your biological mom. Biological, I'm 9. What you mean biological? Well, I was married before, and Alan is not your biological dad. Charleston is not your biological dad. But your grandma Ruth, that's her son. That's your biological father. And he was in the Marines, and we met at church, and da-da-da-da-da. So me, I'm like, well, what does all that mean? Well, that means that you were adopted. Now, that was a topic that was familiar on the ABC After School Special, adopted. Oh, oh, I'm adopted. Oh my God, I'm adopted. So me being a little girl that grew up in the Christian home, in the Christian church, and I believe that all adults around me told the truth. Now I had questions because I didn't know what was real. I didn't know what was the truth. I felt like I was a very smart girl, and I felt like I could have been told before. I felt deceived and really felt like the ABC after school special girl. Like, oh my God, I don't belong. Like everybody else in here is purple and I'm the only one that's pink. Oh, it makes sense that that's why I'm shorter. That's why I'm thicker. That's why my hair is different. That's why. So all the questions that I had and that I had been confronted with by the other children, because children can be kind of mean and children can be cruel. Those things began to play in my head and I began to feel different. I felt like I was lied to. I felt like I was the butt of the joke, so to speak, because I was the only one that didn't know, besides my sister and brother, because they were younger than me. But I was the one that didn't know what my life was about. I didn't know where I came from. Maybe I came from the stork because I was different. So of course I have a lot of questions and I want to know why, and I want to know why wasn't I told, and I want to know why all these Christian people around me didn't tell the truth and why they didn't let me know, because I felt like I probably could have handled it. Like I feel like children can handle more than adults think, because children, I learned from my own experiences that children are little people. So my main questions were, well, why didn't my mom tell me the truth? Why didn't my dad tell me the truth? And where is my dad? And why did my dad that's there choose to keep me or choose me? What made me special? And also what made me different? Stay tuned and we're going to hear from my dad, the dad that raised me. That's my daddy. That's who raised me. That's the one who gave me my name, the one that I love, my last name, the one that I love, and the name that I grew to continue to have until I began my adulthood. We'll be back in a moment. It's Pr1ma with the Just Pr1ma Show. Check me out every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube, Caribbean Life TV, and just Just Pr1ma, Pr1ma. Look forward to seeing you. Stay tuned. That's my dad. What I am going to do is say that I want my dad to come on, and he's going to come and he's going to share some thoughts and feelings. I do want to say that my dad was fun. He was exciting. He was a tyrant. Um, we played games with him. He got out in the snow with us. He played hide and go seek in the house with us. I remember hiding from Dad, thinking that I was hiding because it was dark in the house, and he stepped on my foot, and I thought my foot was broke. I don't even know if he remembers that. I remember my dad on the pictures. You'll see he taught me how to cut hair. I remember my dad teaching me about I was a tomboy. I used to like to climb trees and go in the woods and play with the boys. Played football, I wrestled, I skated, I rode down the hill with no hands on my bike. And I remember my daddy, one day he took a notebook and he was like, "Hey, Pr1ma, go give me a notebook," when the boys was outside. And he was like, "You're gonna go get that paper." And I was like, "What is he doing?" Embarrassing me because he was loud. He was always loud. He talked very loud. So he was like, "We're gonna get a piece of paper." And he told the boys, okay. He used to play football for Morehouse until he was in an accident. So we're gonna take these pieces of paper. And he told all the boys, "Don't touch my daughter anymore. You're not gonna tackle her anymore. Y'all see all these papers," but he tore them neater. "And these are the pieces of paper. And don't y'all touch my daughter no more. We're going to take these papers and we're going to put them on her waist. And that's how you're going to tackle her now. You're going to pull tags. And that's going to be a tackle." And I was always woman's lib, like, so to speak, from a little girl. I was like, "Daddy, that's not fair. I'm just as tough as those boys. I can climb the tree and I can race." And now I was told, "Okay, boys, we're going to tackle. And now we have to be nice to Pr1ma." Because Pr1ma's growing up and she's 12, and I was like, "Daddy," he was like, "You're getting a little thicker," and I wasn't, but. So instead of me being tackled and I'm trying to tackle the boys, I wasn't allowed anymore. And I remember Daddy saying, "Okay, pull it. That's a tackle. That's a tackle. That's a tackle, and that's a tackle." And then, of course, I didn't want to play football anymore because I thought I was rough and tough as the boys, and this is what Daddy wanted me to look like. Okay? So, my dad got us our first dog, Ebony, for Christmas. I remember. I think she was a Humane Society dog, but he can confirm that. But we loved her just the same. We had Ebony. We were so excited about getting her for Christmas. And then my brother got into a fight with someone in the neighborhood, and they said that my dog bit them, and she really didn't. I think they got scuffed up on the curb, on the concrete, but the neighbors threatened, and Dad was like, "Hey, they gotta go to the be put down. She gotta be put down so that we don't have the responsibility," because that's what the neighbors wanted. So we were so hurt because Dad said we couldn't keep Ebony. My daddy had one friend, Mr. Danny. When we were growing up, we were able to go over their house and play games and spend the night and dance and talk and have a good time. He worked most of the time, so he wasn't able to go to church with us as much or family functions, but when we were able to have family functions at the house, Daddy tried to make it as special as possible. So life seemed perfect. So what I want to do now is have my dad to come on. Daddy, are you asleep?
Hey.
Okay, so that's my dad. I won't say anything else like about his name. I already said it. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and some things I know you said you didn't remember, but I'm going to ask this question again, and maybe you done thought of something to say. But I want to know, how did you feel? And let me say this, y'all. He told me he didn't remember this moment, but I remember. And my mother is deceased, and so are my grandmothers that were able, like all four of my grandmothers that could, that was a gnat. So are my grandmothers that were able to give their voice in this space. So right now I have my dad that raised me. That's my daddy. That's my daddy. So Daddy, I want to know, how did you feel, or as much as you can remember, about me confronting you and Mom about me being adopted or me be having a different last name, and give us some type of backdrop to me getting to that point. Although you don't remember the moment, that I remember when I was told to go out the room and it was shared
Yes.
with me.
Okay, sweetie. Well, I'll give you a little background to that. Over your grandmother's house after church, um, and spend subsequent to we let it lie. And it was determined, well, your mother and I determined at that time that we would tell you that you were adopted later on when you could understand it better. But it just so happens that you came across that, I think it was a metal Social Security card that your mother had. And so you caught us off guard, really. And
A lot.
so, I mean, we had to tell you then,
Okay.
but I knew for a fact in my heart of hearts that I wasn't going to treat you any differently as if you weren't. Yeah, I mean, as far as I was concerned, you were my blood, and that was all to it. I was going to treat you just like anybody else that's my blood.
Okay. So I do
So,
want to say,
well, hold on.
okay.
Unfortunately, you had to find out uh, that way uh, because I was going to wait until you were like 12 and uh, and take you aside and explain to you uh, what had happened and everything. But you found out at the age of 9, so you forced my hand, and excuse me, when you it went down the wrong pipe.
Right.
When you reminded me about that metal card, that's when it hit. That was when you went into that wooden cedar chest that we were using as a coffee table,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's my recollection of it. Now, as far as you feeling different, uh, I can only apologize for that because I had no idea that you felt different, that you weren't a member of the family or whatever. Okay, and I also fought myself for not asking you how you felt about it. So that is on my shoulders, and I must apologize for that.
Are you finished? Are you finished?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay. So I do want to say that I don't, I'm thankful for you choosing me. I was the child that you chose. I wasn't a just so happened baby. So thank you for choosing me. I did feel deceived. I did feel like I was lied to, but not lied to directly, but lied to by omission, because I do feel like that is a fact. You did not make me feel any different. Neither did the Charleston family, because nobody made me feel like I was different or anything. So I'm thankful for that. I appreciate everything that you invested in me. And where I felt different was from maybe children or other people around me that made me feel different. Um, I felt like the grandparents that were around me, who who encourage church and encourage God and the truth. That again, when you think that you're protecting the children and you think that certain things aren't important, your identity and where you come from is important to me. I believe that children are little people and children have feelings that should be validated. And I know that y'all did the best that you could at the time. And because of the choices that my parents made, meaning you, the one that chose to walk away, my mom who thought she was doing the right thing, my grandparents who thought they were protecting me, it made me be so adamant about truth. It made me the person that said to my children, I'll whoop your ass, beep, 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 for lying to me before I will if you tell me what you really did. Tell me what you did. Tell me the truth. Because truth is so important to me. People go,
Well, I can only apologize for all that hurt and pain that you feel. And like I said, it was my responsibility to tell you, and I failed. And I'm only asking for your forgiveness for that because, unfortunately, I was totally inexperienced when that came about,
yeah.
and but anyway,
I understand now that I'm an adult that
yeah,
that parenting is a hard job. And we don't always get it right. And we do the best that we know how to do. And I feel like a lot of things that happened in my life and in the house with y'all did the best that you knew how, based on your past, based on your experiences, based on the things that you were taught or that you weren't taught. So I'm not upset. I'm not angry. Like the places that I was in. I remember when I found out about my biological dad, and I remember coming back because I was amped up and he had made all these promises where he was gonna be there and that's not your dad and blah 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 blah. And I remember I had Dominic. I think I had just had Dominic, and I asked my first baby, and I remember I asked, can I have some money to go to the mall or something? And he was like, yeah, go in my wallet. And that was maybe 4 years later. But I went in your wallet, and you know how men have those old wallets with the plastic on the inside. And you had a letter in there that I wrote you when I was about 10 or 11.
mm-hmm.
And I was so mad. I was so mad because I felt lied to. And I wrote you this mean letter. You ain't my daddy, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and da da da. And you and mama lied, and blah, 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 blah. Because I thought my biological dad was going to be there, and he wasn't. But I remember going in your wallet when you told me, yeah, go in my wallet and get the money out. And I went in your wallet, and I saw the words on the plastic that had bled over onto the plastic where the pictures normally go. And I was like, that looks like my writing. So I opened the letter and all the mean things I wrote. When I tore up the letter and I put the money back in your wallet, and I remember coming to tell you I'm sorry for what I said. And you was like, oh, it's okay. But I know it wasn't okay because you kept the letter like 4 years, 3-4 years later. So I apologize for that. because
Well, no, there's no reason for you to apologize, because that letter really actually the proof how bad you felt. And I kept that letter as a reminder of that period in your life. And I didn't ever want to hurt you again like that, ever. That's why I kept it.
well,
So,
again, I want to thank you. Thank you for choosing to be my dad, and thank you for being present as present as you could. And although all the choices weren't the best choices, you did what you knew how to do. And I can say that, for me, everything that I went through, what the seeds that you planted, right, wrong, and indifferent, made me the woman that I am today. I'm thankful that you're here. And although we've had lots of conversations and I was able to give you your flowers, so to speak, while you were living, I wanted to, again, share with the world and share with other people the importance of telling the truth and trusting that children can handle more than you think they can, because they are little people. And if you want what's best for them, it's best to be honest. It's best to tell the truth and allow them to sit with it and help them walk through certain things and walk through certain situations so that they can learn at an early age the importance of integrity, the importance of truth, the importance of honesty, the importance of feeling and expressing your feelings. As a child that was angry at that same time, I remember writing in school and being angry and mad. And I remember a teacher telling me, Pr1ma, it's better to write than to speak sometimes, because when you speak, you can't take it back, which helped me journal, which helped me be able
yeah.
to craft my communication in life, because I learned how to write and erase and write and scratch through and write and be who I am today. And although there are some people that don't understand or don't necessarily like my communication, sorry, not sorry, because I'm comfortable in communicating and being myself and being true to me. And hopefully me sharing my story will help other people do the same thing. It's Pr1ma with the Just Pr1ma Show. Check me out every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube, Caribbean Life TV, and Just, Justpr1ma, Pr1ma. Look forward to seeing you. Stay tuned. I do want to know if there is anything else you want to say, any advice or anything you want to say to other parents, other fathers, before I move on.
Well, to other parents, I just want to reemphasize the fact that, like you said, it's always better to let them know what the deal is, and don't try to keep them safe by not exposing them to the truth as soon as you can, because the longer you take to expose the truth, the longer it's going to take for the healing process to begin. Uh, as far as people, fathers and mothers who are thinking about adoption, if you're not into it 150, 180%, don't do it, because a child deserves all the love that they can possibly get. And if you're not willing to give that much, Don't put a child through it.
Well, thank you.
That's the truth. That's
Because
the
I was
truth.
still my daddy's best child, the child he chose. My sister and brother may not feel the same way. So if you adopt a child, you'll have a child probably as great as me, probably, or better. So again, choose adoption. There are some kids out here that need someone, or some parents, blended families that children need a parent, a mom or dad. I didn't turn out so bad to some people, and to other people I did, and to those that think I did, oh well. Um, as life happened, I found out whatever I found out. I had to put the pieces of my life together, and the questions that I had, so many questions. Who is my dad? Why didn't his mom tell me? As many times as I went to her house and went to church with her and spent time with her, and the cousins and the relatives that I met at her house, no one told me. Why wasn't he present?
Okay. Let me
Why
inject
wasn't I
something
enough?
here.
Um,
Let me inject something.
okay,
Uh,
go ahead and
I
inject.
talked with I talked with Miss Lisby about that,
Uh-huh.
and she stated that it wasn't her place to tell me because you were acclimated
She told me
to the
that.
family and everything, and she just didn't feel that it was fair to you to. She didn't think that you could handle it, just like I didn't think you could handle it at the time. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what she told me. So I have to inject that because uh, she was a very sweet woman.
She
She
was.
had all my respect, and when she left this earth, it was an angel going back to heaven, as far as I was concerned.
Right. Well, she did tell me that she wanted to continue to be able to have a relationship with me. And she did
Yes.
not want to cause any problems in my home. Um, and when I asked grandma, my mother's mother, Grandma Mary, why she didn't tell me, because she was the one that led me to the sinner's prayer at 3 years old and always prayed with me. And I was able to talk to my grandmothers about anything. And I did not quite understand as a child the reason why they didn't tell me. But now that I am a Mimi, a grandmother to 12 children,
Yeah.
so I have 12 grandchildren, I can understand, like they say, keep a living. So as I've kept living, um, the
It's
complications, the complications and challenges that children are born into, and the things that adults around them have to hold or not share. But I can say that with my grandchildren, I tell them the truth. I tell them where they come from. I tell them life is not perfect, but it is what it is. And whether I see my grandchildren or not, whether I see my sons or not, my blood runs through their veins, and I love them forever. And I'm always here for them, whether it's as a child or an adult. You are me, and I am you, and you can always reach out. And I won't lie to you, and I won't deceive you. But I know that it's challenging as adults because we don't want to hurt them. But again, from my experiences, I know children can handle more than we think. So based on my
yeah.
life and everything that has happened, and me learning that what I thought my family was, and my biological father that has been the far better dad than the one that I had, that chose not to be present, that chose to be somewhere else for whatever reason. I had to put the pieces together. I had plenty of questions to ask my grandparents. I had questions to ask him. I remember my first date with him. And dads, please date your daughters. Date your daughters because you're her first man. You're her first love and you set the tone. You set the tone. That's what she'll choose. You'll set the tone. That's what she'll accept.
Yes. Yes.
So you're very important. And although you go through changes with mom and mom's family, try to be as present with your daughters as you can. Children need both parents for different reasons, but your daughters, know that you reap what you sow. And karma visits all of us. None of us are exempt. It's Pr1ma with the Pr1ma Show. Check me out every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube, Caribbean Life TV, and Just Pr1ma. Pr1ma. Look forward to seeing you. Stay tuned. That's my biological dad that for so many years I called my sperm donor after he rejected and hurt me. His name is RT, and he's gone on to glory about 6 years ago. My biological dad, when I met him, I was asked that I want to meet him, and of course I said yes because I wanted to know where I came from and I wanted to know who I looked like, and it just made sense as a 9-year-old little girl to know where I came from. I remember like my first date. I could have been going on 10 now. It was a place on Old National called Sizzler, and that's in Atlanta, Georgia. And along with feeling different, I was excited because I wanted to know where I came from and who I looked like. And, you know, I expected him to love me and embrace me and be this knight in shining armor. I went to Sizzler, and my favorite dinner was like steak and salad and corn on the cob. And I had my first Shirley Temple, which was a virgin drink. I don't know what it is now, but I thought I was drinking and had some cherries in it. And I was going with my dad. We talked and talked, and I had all these questions. And of course, he had a story. And my mom never told me anything negative about him. She just said that things didn't work out between them. They met at church. He was in the Marines. She was in the Navy. I was a honeymoon baby, got pregnant on the honeymoon. I was born the next year, and maybe when I was about 2 or so, I think they was divorced. My daddy might be able to say about how old I was, but I'm sure I was between 1 and 2 because my sister was born when I was 3 and my brother was born when I was 4, and I was already in the family with my daddy. He told me that my grandmother kept us away, and my grandmother convinced my mom to leave him, and he didn't know about the court date. He didn't know that I was being adopted, and the next thing you know, I was adopted, and my name had changed, and he just couldn't take it. He couldn't live like that with another man being my dad, and he just disappeared and left his daughter. But he loved her so much. He loved her so much. I had a talent show at school. I remember going to Pr1ma, which is in the SWATs of Atlanta, and I needed a purple muscle shirt. And some of my friends, my childhood friends that may be watching may remember that. And I got my name put on the back of the shirt because we had a dance to do. I remember him getting me, I think it's called like a 45 Madonna Like a Virgin. because that's what I liked. I loved music, love music. And all the promises and things that he made that got my hopes up high, because where I was different, I really didn't know I was broken until I found out I was broke. Like, you think everything's normal until you find out it's not normal. So, of course, that opens Pandora's box, and you think life will be a certain way. And when you have adults that make promises to children, again, what I learned is that adults lie. On top of the fact that I learned adults lie when they told me that life was one way, or they omitted information. Now I had an adult who lied to me even more, who said that this person wasn't my dad. He didn't love me. It wasn't his blood that ran through my veins. It was his blood that ran through my veins. He was going to pick me up. He was going to be there. And I began to be stood up. I remember waiting after school for him to pick me up. I remember meeting a sibling that I didn't know I had. For years being told I was his only daughter. Later to find out at 21 that I was not. Like I said, I met my brother when I was about 11. I began to, besides the fact of being transferred to a public school from the private school and going to the public school, I remember being bullied. I remember being in fights because I was different. I talked different. I had long hair. I dressed different. I remember my shoes being stepped on. I remember being pushed on the playground. I remember my hair being pulled and bows being pulled. I remember being pitted against another pretty girl in school that later became my best friend. So I was just in this place that I felt alone. I learned what rejection was. So meeting a dad that I was not already aware of brought a lot of pain, brought a lot of hurt, rejection, things that if children were told ahead of time, that they could probably handle it different. With that, I'm going to end. And I'm going to say thank you for tuning in. Please be mindful of the choices that you make as adults when you deal with children. Know that they can handle more than they can handle. Adoption can be a great thing because you can get a great girl like me, or you can get a great dad like my dad, although some people would say that he didn't always make the best choices and he has asked to be forgiven, or felt like his children hated him. But once I became a parent, I understood that parenting is the hardest job in the world. It doesn't come with a foolproof instruction manual, so do the best that you can. Please subscribe to my channel, my YouTube channel, Pr1ma. You can email me at Pr1ma @gmail.com. I'm open to answering your questions. I welcome your comments and your feedback. Thank you again for tuning in. You can also find me on CLTV or Caribbean Life TV on Facebook as well as YouTube. I'm kind of tired and I'm saying all I know to say at this moment. And next week, you'll see if I'll continue on with this topic or go into sexual indiscretions, which is my intent, but I will be led by spirit. Thank you again. Thank you, Daddy. Show my daddy
You're welcome,
again.
sweetheart.
Show my daddy again. Love you. Thank you. I appreciate you a whole lot.
Love you too, baby.
All
Love
right.
you too.
That's it. See y'all next week. Hey y'all, it's Pr1ma with the Just Pr1ma show. I had time to change and sit on here. I am sitting here for questions and comments. I'm reading certain things on my phone. This was an emotional episode for me. Me allowing myself to be vulnerable, me sharing my blood, love, and tears as led by Spirit. Me being obedient, where initially, like I said, I was writing a book, and instead I was told to put the book aside and tell my story this way. So that is what I'm doing. I do want to say, y'all see my shirt? This is called Always Thirsty. This is one of my son's brand, Always Thirsty. So I'm repping him tonight as I share my blood, love, and tears. I had different family members and friends to get on and make comments. And I am watching. If y'all want to have, a little time, I think I'm going to wait maybe 30 minutes for those that have watched. If you want to comment, if you want to ask any questions, I do want to say that I appreciate all the words of encouragement. I appreciate, I'm just in a different space right now. I'm in a sensitive, vulnerable space. Thank you to the ones that have commented about my tears. I was not expecting to cry. My heart is very tender right now. That's the first time that I had that conversation with my dad to ask him what he remembered and how he felt about the moment that I found out that he wasn't my dad, and I found a different last name. I don't think he knew how much that situation affected me, and how much it impacted my life. Again, I'm eternally grateful for him choosing me, because he chose me. It's a difference when you choose children than when you just have them. So I am thankful for him choosing me, and I am forever loyal to him, appreciative, and thankful, because he was steadfast in my life. Although we didn't always agree, and although he didn't always make the right choices, I want to say thank you. To my sisters that are watching, with Goddess Anika, the feminine transformation, the alchemy class, the alchemy group that I get with on a monthly basis, I want to say thank you for the encouragement. I am reading. I am watching. To my cousin, Roderick, who said he wanted to give both of us a hug. Roderick was a cousin that was around for a period of time that we embraced as a child, or for my parents, and for me as a little brother, because he was there with my brother, and me being able to be there as a big sister, so to speak. So I love you too. My mother-in-law, Miss Mitzi, I want to say thank you. And the tears, me being told that the tears are cleansing, the tears are bringing healing. Me sharing my story is ultimately what I feel like my spirit is leading me to do, is to become relatable to other people, to cause people to have dialogue, to talk to their children, to talk to their spouses, to have conversations, the hard conversations that they would not normally have or they have not had thus far. So that is my purpose. That is my reasoning. Let me see. I want to say hi to my children that are watching. Thank you. My grandchildren that are watching, I want to say thank you. And what I am also doing is leaving a legacy for my children and for my grandchildren. And one day I won't be here, but I pray that I'm an inspiration to many. And I have prayed that God use me as God sees fit, because, masculine and feminine. But that I'm used as God sees fit, Goddess. I have said for a long time that I'm available, and in being available, it puts me in uncomfortable situations, but I've learned to be comfortable and resilient in the most uncomfortable situations. I think I am taking a pause for the cause. I'm waiting on production to let me know before I move forward. So I am cutting. I'll be back for the questions and comments. Shit. Caribbean Life TV. I do welcome all emails at Pr1ma@gmail.com. See you next week. Thank you for tuning in.